Barking more glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the living Holy Spirit, one shining God forever. Amen. Our most respected and beloved Baselios, and dearly beloved in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. There is so much that I can say about our beloved Baba Liturgy, our Holy Baba Liturgy. However, because of the time constraints, I will limit it to just a few minutes. First and foremost, I would like to say, we humans, we have an unusual habit. All humans have an unusual habit. You know what that habit is? Only when one person passes away do we realize that person's greatness. Only when a person departs from us, departs from this world, do we understand how great that person was. It is true in the lives of us, especially when our parents pass away, our siblings pass away, our children pass away. Only when they are left or when they leave from our presence do we understand how great they are. As I was hearing all the messages that were said during Baba Liturgy's funeral, I wondered how much of this is true. And as I continue to hear all these messages, I often think, if we were able to share these good messages when this Holy Father was alive, there would have been greatness in our church. Much more greatness and great blessings would have happened in our church. Today, the whole church, everywhere, all over the world, we're speaking about his good memories as if we did something great about him. We did something great for him. It's unfortunate. Dearly beloved, a lot of great memories, and the very first thing that comes to mind is, just as our patron saint, our Padmala Tirumani, Kochu Tirumani, at a young age he was ordained. You heard many people speak before me that our Holy Baba Tirumani, at the young age of 13 or at the young age of 38, he was ordained as a bishop. People then asked, can we not wait until he's 40? Padmala Baba Tirumani said, no, he will be 40, don't worry about that. At that time and at that place, at that age, he had to be ordained because God, Padmala Baba Tirumani, had a great vision about this Holy Father. It was humility. It was his humility that God saw, that Padmala Baba Tirumani saw, that finally God raised him to the highest position of this church. The highest position. I'll say two experiences. Many of the speakers before me said, we are very fortunate. It is a sense of pride that we can talk about our Baba Tirumani coming to our church and blessing our church. He even slept in our church. The room that we have upstairs, Tirumani was staying there, he slept in our church. But there's one thing that many of you don't know. When he came to conduct Holy Qurbana that day, I was assisting him. And when our beloved Baba Tirumani entered into the holy sanctuary for Tuyobo service, I was assisting him. And he came to me and he asked me, Chamacha, Eppula Qurbana Tiranula Sadara. So I told him, Tirumani, Samya Munnu Nokada, you do as you can and as you wish. You make sure that you're comfortable. You're comfortable. And I say this, our beloved Baselios makes sure that every Achan that comes to our church, that visits our church, that they are comfortable in their way of conducting Holy Qurbana. And so I said the same thing. What I witnessed that day, many times throughout the Holy Qurbana, I saw this Holy Father crying, tears coming from his face, flowing from his eyes, all through his face. No one else saw that. Maybe one of the other Achans or acolytes may have seen it, if they noticed it. I can say that I have seen in the last 10 years as our beloved Baba Tirumani was elevated to the Catholicos. Now is the social media frenzy where everything that we can see through the social media and YouTube. I can honestly say that there is never another Qurbana that he celebrated wholeheartedly except for the Qurbana that he had celebrated in our church. Many, he did hundreds, maybe thousands of Qurbana. And you can compare them. Even that kurbana that he celebrated in our church, it's online. You can compare it with other kurbanas. His whole mind, his whole soul, his whole heart was in that kurbana. He was connected with God. He wasn't in this space. He was in the heavenly beings. And only then was he able to see, were we able to see those tears come. Our beloved Matthew, acolyte, said, we are also blessed today. We are prideful today. Because not only did he come to our church and celebrate Holy Kurbana, but 2 children from this church were ordained as priests by his holy hands. Ordained as priests. That day, I remember John Guglielmo Kuniwani, they were all witnesses of our ordination at the time, our late Ipinango. But one thing I also like to share with you all is, the day prior to our ordination, after evening prayers, our Holy Baba Dinamini called us in his room, me and Jonathan, and he began to speak to us and he began to tell us all the things that were to happen the next day. But one thing I always remember. And what he said to us that evening was, Acha, Chamacha, this is not easy. This is going to be a cross in your life. This is going to be a cross in your life. Dearly beloved, our Holy Baba Tenemini, through his holy hands, ordained myself and Jonathan. Ever since then, we have been keeping in close touch with him. We have been calling him. And ever since our ordination, I have been asking him, Tenemini, what would you like us to do? And he would always advise me, just stay there, stay there. He would comfort me and say, just stay there. And sometimes I wish he would say more. He would say more. I wish he would have given us more instruction. But the only instruction he said was, you stay there. Dearly beloved, I know very well that that instruction was a great blessing in my life. Standing here among you all in this holy church that our Holy Father blessed, stayed here in this holy sanctuary, cried during the Holy Kurbana, continues to cry for us. I know his prayers and instructions were only blessings for us and will only continue to be a blessing in our lives. Now the question is, it's nice to have these memorial meetings. A few people say a few great things about Baba Tenmini, but what else? The question that we should ask ourselves is there anything that we can do to imitate, to emulate his life, his legacy, and his holiness? Imitate his life, his humility, his love in our lives. That is the greatest legacy that we can do for our beloved Baba Tenmini. I know that wherever I go, I will always carry this Holy Father. I will always carry our beloved Baselios Tenmini. I will always carry our holy Pangula Tenmini in our lives. And if all of us, especially our young children, can do that, that is the greatest thing that we can do for our beloved Baba Tenmini. May his great memory be eternal always.